Hello everyone, welcome to the new craft room. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited that you're all joining me. So in today's live video, I'm going to be playing with a technique that I have loved for years. I think back in the day, when I first started using distress inks, this was the technique that got me like really interested in distress inks. It's called ink smushing, and a lot of you are probably familiar with it, but sometimes it's one of those techniques that we forget about. I was on a Zoom call with a friend this morning and I thought, I was asking her, I'm like, what should I do on my live today? And she's like, you should do ink smushing. Done. She might even be here in the chat. I'm not entirely sure, but if she is, thank you, Lisa. She inspired me to do this. Okay, so we're going to switch to the overhead. And yes, I am using a white mat. What? So this is a glass mat. Can you hear that with my ring? It's a glass mat. And when you're doing ink smushing, something that you want to consider is you want to use a slick surface, because we're going to be putting our inks down, adding water, and then smushing our paper onto the surface and picking up that paper or picking up the ink. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. It's some of my favorite things to do, like I said. And we're going to be comparing how it looks and how it works with the original distress inks versus the oxide inks. We're going to get into the creating. So I've selected 4 different colors of distress ink. And these 3 I picked specifically because it's basically like magenta, yellow, and cyan, which are great colors for pulling together like all of the colors of the rainbow. So, and then I wanted wilted violet just because who doesn't love a bright purple? Well, I don't. So I have the same equivalent colors and oxides over here as well. So we're going to start with the original distress and go from there. So one of the reasons why I'm using this glass mat is because I can squash right down on it. I'm going to put that picked raspberry. I think I'll do a little wilted violet kind of up there. Do some squeezed lemonade down here, trying to not put the yellow right into the colors. And this is Salty Ocean. It's kind of going to be like a cyan. I'm going to bring this blue up here. Maybe I'll do a little bit. Let's see. We're going to do a little blue right here too. Okay. Have my watercolor paper on standby. I'm going to take my spray bottle. This is a distress sprayer from Tim Holtz. And I'm going to spray all of the inks. I want to get it kind of pooling a little bit. I can zoom in a little more now. Take my watercolor paper and I'm going to pounce it down into the color. And smush that down and then lift up. Okay, so I have really, really strong colors going right now. I don't mind at all. But for this first layer, I did want it to be a little bit softer. So I'm going to spritz that just a little bit. Try to get those colors kind of moving a little bit. There we go. Especially want to get that area right there. Okay, perfect. And if I get a little dripping, it is not a problem. Okay, I can even like pounce down into that color again if I want to get that bottom corner. Getting a little bit of mud right here. So I'm going to grab a paper towel. And before that really settles in, I'm going to kind of pick it up with the corner of my paper towel. And that's going to stop kind of that mud forming, right? Okay. I'm going to hit this with my heat tool just to speed up the drying so we can move along. Oh, by the way, the watercolor paper I'm using is Strathmore cold press. So I've still got leftover ink on my work surface here. So I'm actually going to kind of pounce into those areas. It's gonna add like, we're gonna spread this out a little bit. Kind of smush a little. Getting kind of some interesting darker areas, which I'm totally loving. I love that. Okay, I'm getting some of that like dark muddy thing. I think it's the purple on top of the yellow. Totally okay though. I'm gonna dry this and come back with more. All right, I'm gonna clean this up quickly. Okay, so here's what we have so far. I was gonna add more color, but I don't think I want to. I'm gonna do the second half of this technique, which I absolutely love. If there are ever any areas on your project, like I've got this kind of area through here where there's not a whole lot going on, it's just the colors blending, which is very beautiful, but all these other areas have more little hard edges happening. So instead of leaving it like this, I'm going to put some water into the palm of my hand, and I'm going to try to direct the drips of water onto that center area. Okay, so Distress inks, what makes them really, really cool is they're reactive with water. So I'm going to take this paper towel and put it down over my project and kind of let it absorb some color. And then you see how it got some like little splotches? I'm gonna put a little spray right there. Come down here, pick that up. Okay, it just picked up a little bit of color. I'm going to dry this. All right, now who is ready for some oxides? We'll see how the oxides perform. Distress ink in general is a little bit more vibrant, and oxides tend to have almost like a chalky texture to them. So that's the main difference that I like to tell people, but we're gonna see what the difference is right now. So I'm gonna use my oxides in the same colors. Maybe I'm gonna try to do kind of the same pattern. Picked raspberry, and then we had, I think we had wilted violet off to the side. You can already tell it's kind of a more milky ink. Salty Ocean, I think was down below, or maybe it was, I know there was like one little spot up here. I think I put it in between. And then Squeezed Lemonade. Actually, no, I did this totally backwards. Squeezed Lemonade goes up here because I was trying to not get the yellow and the purple next to each other. So we'll just move this up here. I think it's a big mat. By the way, if you want a glass mat like this, there's a discount code down in the video description. You can go to their website and use the code Christina20 and you'll get 20% off. It's an awesome deal. Okay, I'm gonna spritz this. You can already see the colors kind of mixing. I'll take my clean watercolor paper and press that down into all of the inks. You can even kind of wiggle it a little, if I can wiggle it a little. It's almost suction to it. Pick it up. Okay, well, for one thing, that gave me a really different effect. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna spritz that just like we did before. Kind of get that moving. Drip off a little. I'm gonna pounce into this color right here just to fill this corner. It has almost like an acrylic paint look because it does have kind of like more of a matte look to it. It does kind of look chalky, but it just has more of a matte look to me. I don't know how to describe it. And I don't know that chalky is quite the right description, but it's close. So I do want to pounce this into the ink colors again, but I'm gonna have to be strategic about it. Get a little more water on there. Let's see here. I'm like, where do I go? Okay, I like that. It's almost like you just don't know what's going to happen. Let's see. Oh, okay, I need something down here. Okay, I think I'm going to keep it at this point, and then we can do the water droplets on top. So I'm going to dry this really quick. Clean up my work surface here. It does clean up so easy. Okay. It does tend to want to stay wet a little bit longer than my usual Tonic Easy Clean mat, but it just takes a few more little wipes to clean it up. Okay. Same thing as before. I'm going to put some water into the palm of my hand. And I'm going to try to direct it to kind of just all over. The paper I'm using today is Strathmore cold pressed watercolor paper. Okay, I'm going to do something I totally forgot to do on the last one, which is you can pick it up and kind of move the water around a little bit, and that tends to like pull the color a little bit more, at least in my experience. All right, dabbing this off. Oh yeah, there you go. I love that. Just a few little water droplets. You know what? And to give it a fair go, I'm going to do that on this one too, because I wanted more water droplets than I got. And since I forgot to do that rocking, I'm going to do that over here. All right, so I'm just letting it rock back and forth. I can see the puddles of color kind of going back and forth. Okay. Clean paper towel. Dab that off. I think it's going to pull up a lot more color this time. Oh, I think it did. Yeah. See how much more color it pulled up? So that little rock right at the end to kind of like get the color or the water moving, I think really works. Yvonne's asking about the surface I'm working on today. It is a white glass mat. There is the website of the company is glassboardstudio.com. So for those of you watching now, it's glassboardstudio.com. And they have a bunch of different glass mats that you can choose from, and different sizes, lots of different sizes. Okay, but there's a discount code in the video description as well. You know, I don't know that I've ever done this particular technique with both types of oxide or distress inks, like side by side to compare them. You guys saw a little bit of what happened. This one over here, the inks just almost absorbed immediately into the paper, whereas over here, they stayed a little bit more fluid. Here are my two examples for today. Let's go ahead and turn them into cards. What do you guys say? So Mama Elephant, big birthday wishes. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to cut out the center of all the color, and then I can pop it out and put it, like dimensionalize it a little bit, and then it would have a little bit of a shadow. I think that could be kind of cool. The glue I'm using today is my usual, which is Honeybee Precision Glue. And here's the question. Do you guys like the white glass mat, or do you prefer the black? I've been using the black mat for, how long have I been doing this? 14 years. So let me know, like, do you like the black mat, or is the white mat refreshing? Like, let me know what you think. I'm just gonna do dabs of glue, maybe even less than I usually do, just because this is so big. I just want to make sure that I hit most points, or like pieces that are, you know, like the bottom of the R here. I want to make sure I glue that down because it's kind of a piece off by itself. All right, and then I'm going to grab another one of these. And using my tweezers, just gently guide it down on there. and then pick up both, and then I can use my fingers to do that. So some people are liking the white. Mindy's asking if my mat is magnetic. Yes, it is. I just need to get some really strong magnets, and then I can do ink blending on it and all sorts of that stuff. All right, so we're gonna put the silver right on top, and then that'll give us like a really thick die cut. All right, now we need to put together this other one. See how thick that is? That's so cute. Should we go ahead and just finish this one off? We can just go ahead and glue this one down. I love that I took the extra time to do some dimension. That really finishes off that card. Let's put that right here. Oh, and I'm gonna have to do the tittle or the dot on the eye. We'll do that in a minute when I can get rid of all of these other little cuts, little die cut pieces. All right, I'm gonna grab some acrylic blocks, stack those on top. That'll hold it down while it dries. How many layers? I did 3 layers of white and then the top. So in total, it was 4. Okay. So this piece is going to go flat onto the card front, right? And then I want to be fairly quick about placing my other die cut inside, because if there are any little pieces in here that have moved around, I want to make sure that they're in the right spot. Okay. I don't think they've really moved, but we'll see. All right, see, like this W has definitely moved, right? I want to get these kind of placed in here as fast as we can. Okay, not bad at all. I've seen people do cards like this. I have yet to do one, so this is fun. Puzzle piece that right back in. Okay. So then you can, like, when you tip it to the side, you have a little bit of shadow. It's almost like it's a hidden message. I think it's so fun. Put a little bit of glue in these center areas. I'm skipping over the dot on the eye because I'll have to do that here in a minute. And then this is where I get to put the puzzle back together. Oh, wait, where it doesn't want to go in. Go in! There we go. All right, so things to learn from Christina doing this for the first time ever. It is better to have one layer at the bottom that you would hear, and then you can put thick greeting on top, because otherwise sometimes it can be hard to get your interior pieces of the colored area down in there. You know, because of the edges of all the different layers. Some are going on without any problem. Others, I'm really having to press down in past all those layers of white cardstock. Okay, getting closer here. This is fun. I kind of like the puzzle aspect of this. Okay, what is this right here? And I'm also glad that I was able to use this entire background because I love how it turned out. Okay, this has got to be right there. Oh no, this piece needs to move. You need to move, honey. It's not gonna work. I'm gonna have a little white gap right there. Whatever, it is what it is. And we'll put that one in right there. Okay, how fun. Yeah, jigsaw puzzle, exactly. Okay, so now I've got to like build up a bunch of these white dots. Colorful one goes right there. Ta-da! All right, so that one's completely finished. We just need to do the silver one over here, and I think I see the silver dot on this big pile. There we go. So here are our 2 cards, all finished. Haha, there we are. There I am. Hello. Thank you for sticking with me today. It was different. My mic wasn't working for a little bit, or it was weird. Um, Discovered that my $50 mic from Amazon was not as good as I hoped. But I really love how both of these turned out. This kind of hidden message one right here kind of makes me think of those like magic eye books. You remember those? Where you're like staring at it, you're like, what the? This one has, it feels really thick and substantial because it has all those layers of foam, and then it's got like the really thick greeting on top too. It feels substantial. It feels really nice. So here are the two cards for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. I love how both turned out. It was really fun to do the oxides like right side by side with the original Distress inks. It really helped me kind of solidify in my mind the difference between the two inks and how they behave. They behave very similarly with water, but at the same time, the look can be quite different. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be back next week with more card videos, and thanks so much for watching.